All right. What's up, everybody? Just 1 second. Go ahead and get started. Just a second, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and give everybody just a moment here to hop on, and we'll go ahead and get started. What's up? Alrighty, let's see here. Where's our news? Good evening, good evening. What's up, everybody? Pretty good. 1 second. One second, almost done, guys. Just waiting for everybody to hop on here. Just a second here. What's up, what's up, what's up? Yeah, I got you. All right. All right. Looks like everybody's. Nice, off to see. Sorry, there's a link right here on YouTube that allows me to share it immediately. So, all right. What's up, Derek? Fayon, Tommy. All right, guys, we're gonna cruise through the news, get to the charts. I got some stuff to do tonight. I've been really trying to catch up with everybody's one-on-one requests, of course. So that's been a lot, but it's nice getting to know everybody. Let's see here. There we go. All right, let's see here. All right, what's up? Good evening, everybody who's just tuning in. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get rocking here. Get started with the news. Oh, shit, man. This is not a very good desk for holding things up. Alrighty, so for our recap of the day, of course, some of the top tails. Of course, we saw Bitcoin moving up. Stocks rallied in spite of a lot of those bearish flows that we thought we saw. Those seem to have disappeared. But anyway, stocks rallied again, of course, to new highs. The Russell 2000 up 30.33%. And the SPY 5000 spiked to 0.24%. Energy exceeded all other sectors, elevating 2.47%. Material and consumer discretionary were also sources of strength. Like I said, Bitcoin came back to life, hitting that 41K with volume, and then just chilling right back down at 38. Chinese stocks, guys, those ones were we saw a lot of red today. iShares MC Chinese, or it's the MSCI China ETF, was basically the holder of Chinese stocks. Was down about 5.63% after the country announced sweeping changes in its education sector. More on that. We'll talk about that later. Hasbro, they had a pretty sweet earnings. Also, you can check out Tsla and Hasbro. I'll post that information in the Discord, but we're going to go over those closing prints on those on that earnings, on the earnings for Tesla and a few others. Sorry, my words. Less person. There is. It's my friend. I'll take a look at Neo. Isaac, if you want to hop on the YouTube a little bit, I'll put that on my list. Anyway, so closing today, we have the S&P up 0.24%, NASDAQ up 0.03%, Russell up 0.33%, the Dow up 24%. Let me double check. They don't color code it yet. Dow looking sweet. Look at that $3,500 mark snapped. So we're going to go over those major ETFs right after our earnings recap. So Tesla with the strength. We saw Tesla surpassed 1 billion in quarterly net profits for the first time ever, beating forecast on both top and bottom lines. EPS $1.45 earnings per share versus the 98-cent estimate. Revenue $11.96 billion, over 98% year over year, and Tesla was up about 0.93% after hours. Of course, I mentioned they did have good delivery numbers as well. Those were up around around 151% or 121% year over year. So all in all, I think the prices on Tesla's vehicles did drop about 2%, but I think one of the things they highlighted in the meeting was that EVs will continue to predominantly be inflection point for when it comes to social sentiment amongst people and everything. So, but anyway, Hasbro, those of you who follow HAS, they soared 12.25% to a 52 weeks high after the company topped Q2 earnings and revenue expectations. Wizards revenue increased fourfold during the quarter. They have that in quotations. EPS was $1.05 over the 50-cent estimate, and revenue was about $1.32 billion, 54% year over year. Yeah, nice move on that one. So let's see here. Not only that, guys, it's worth mentioning that Tesla's solar sector is also making money here as well. Let's see here. I'm trying to keep it short here, guys. I think recapping as well. I don't know if you guys saw that Lucid Group. I'm sure everybody did. LCID is that new ticker. Pushed 10% on its first day of trading. Of course, it was one of the most anticipated stacks of the year in early January when rumors started to circulate that the team behind CCIV was negotiating with Saudi Arabia Public Investors Fund. Our public investment fund, Saudi Arabia, is the biggest shareholder in Lucid. After weeks of speculation, the deal was announced in February, valuing the company at $11.7 billion, and Lucid's raised $5.5 billion from the merger. The company competes in one of the hottest sectors we've ever seen. Electric vehicles are the new vogue, and the vehicle legacy and new age automakers clawing for some share of the market. Market leader Tesla has swept the competition, but Lucid isn't backing down. Lucid first EV, Lucid Air, offers 500 plus mile range, and that range knocks almost every other company out of the water, but its price tag is just a tad out of reach. Car starts at 69 grand. They're going to be delivering in 2021 apparently. So all right, so that is about it. Let's see here. So prepping for tomorrow, guys, we have a big day ahead of us. We are inching around new highs. Talk about spot for sure. Yeah, just hop on the YouTube if you don't mind, and that way I can show you the chart. So you know what? 1 second. I'll be right back. Hold on 1 second, guys. I gotta do something. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. All right, there we go. Perfect. But what was I going to say? So earnings. Let's see here. You guys are seeing me correct. No, that's not the right one. Hold on one second. Sushi Gang. Is there anything going on with WBA? Quinn, we'll take a look at that one in just a second here. And I can look at MBIS as well for sure. Okay. So anyway, looking at StockTwits. I'll pull this up. Good evening, everybody. What's up, Sushi King in Okinawa? Where's everybody at right now? Are we around the world? I know we're all the way in Budapest, Okinawa, London. I'm in Georgia. It's not that exciting. I don't know why I never thought of that before. Nice. Los Angeles, Arizona, Sacramento. Nice. I was born in Palmdale, but I did not stay there for long. Anyway, so what we have going on tomorrow, of course, Tesla picking up, setting off earnings. We had a couple other decent big names, but nothing out of the ordinary. Tomorrow is when things are going to get really, really crazy. So right off the bat, Visa, AMD, Apple, Starbucks, Microsoft, and Google. This is... And then one of the reasons why this is where I think it gets really crazy, because we have 149 companies reporting on Tuesday. We have 165 companies reporting on Wednesday. That's a lot of volatility and a lot of money that's going to be going in and out of the markets on earnings. So, in my opinion, and you guys saw Apple today, and I'll keep my opinion modest, and you know, I don't know. In my opinion, I still think that Apple pulls back. I still think that earnings is very well priced in. You can just see if you look at the daily chart. You know, I mean, even from last year, you know, we've just completely blown most of these targets out of the water. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to just dump, but it could mean just a simple retest back in the 140s, 143, possibly revisiting those previous highs. But I could be eating crow here, as Apple is likely to blow the majority of their earnings out of the water. So, but historically and cyclically, it doesn't move that way. It doesn't move quite as well after earnings. So, of course, we've got that one on watch. Microsoft is probably of the utmost interest to me, as it still has a lot of room to run, in my opinion. Again, this is one that has ran and could very well go and revisit the very same channel support and fall back down through here. But I still believe that there's a potential for that 300. And I still have $300 calls on Microsoft that are expiring all the way out in September and August. So, and obviously we've traded this one so much that I'm willing to take whatever. I'm not going to get hit by IV. If anything, I'll benefit from it. I could even maybe take profit before the bell just on pure IV. So, but anyway, with Microsoft and all of these different earnings, guys, it's important to take a look at our major ETFs and remember that all of the companies that are reporting, 850 plus of them, make up the majority of the S&P and NASDAQ. And that being said, if they make up, the majority of the NASDAQ and SPY, it's going to cause a lot of volatility. And so I think paying attention to earnings after hours, I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. I have an idea that we could potentially pull back just a little bit and kind of trade in range, like we did last quarter, or we could pop here and end up taking out like 445 or 443, which is a big jump. But if you look at where SPY is at, it's well above this resistance. Let's see here. Actually, it's better if I just delete these lines here. So historically as well, every time that SPY hits its 200 or its 50-day EMA here, so you see 1, 2, 3, 4 bounces, 5, 6, 7 actually bounces off of that EMA. That to me, if I'm looking back at how it historically has moved, it usually makes a significant new high. I think here we were stifled. This was by the climate of the market, but otherwise the bounces off the 50 have at least held out for the most part. So I've said this before, I think we discussed it last week, that earnings are going to be the turning point, I think, going into the rest of the year, or at least until October, because I think that if earnings aren't substantial, and I mean, if you look at Tesla, I mean, what a blowout, and they've been trading lower, right, and being held down, and I think that this could be that sentiment changer, of course, but like I said, Apple, Starbucks, Microsoft, Google, all of these companies, which we can only hope, and obviously looking at the state of the world and the climate that we've been in, that these companies have continued to benefit from unfortunately the struggles that we've been having to go through as far as a country, working from home, logistics as far as vaccine resources and everything is there's just a lot going on, and so in my opinion, I'm looking at earnings as a potential tipping point because the market has been going up on extremely low volume. So if we do end up pushing up tomorrow, I think that we're going to push up and maybe hit that 443 mark, 442, and that would be an anticipation for the run up into the earnings season. So if we end up getting that run up into earnings season, sorry guys, if we do end up running into earnings, Starbucks, Google, Microsoft, all of those, then that would only amplify my bearish sentiment, because if you look at the volume here in my left hand corner of my screen, that is really bad. I mean, any retail investor, just your average Joe might miss that, but that's really not good. This volume is about as low as it gets as far as SPY, and yesterday was a little bit better, but today there was no umph, and that came after, or it was a Monday kicking off this earnings week. So all in all, I feel uneasy taking anything. I think we get a little bit choppy here, and I'm going to be trying to be very careful about how heavy I go into certain positions. So, but anyway, moving on, we're going to go to QQQ here. My beer tells me I'm in heaven, but my kids tell me I'm in hell. Oh my God. Oh, nice. I lived in Missouri too. I lived in Aurora, Missouri. Yeah. All All right, cool. Stocks. I mean, both, but more stocks. All right. So anyway, sorry, I just wanted to check these messages here, make sure I wasn't missing anything. All right, so same story here on the Qs. Volume really, really low, and not only that, I mean, it's just setting up. It's just so ugly. So let's go down here to the 15-minute hourly time frame right here, and let's pull this. Man, yeah, so just crazy low volume here. Nah, still salty. So anyway, this QQQ chart, looking at the volume, looking at everything else, guys, it's and looking at where our daily resistance is, there is a decent possibility that we pop and we go to 373 if earnings are good. And the reason why I said the same thing with SPY and the same thing with Qs is because if earnings happens after hours, there is a good chance that we may gap up, right? We gap up, that may push futures or Qs run with it. And so we may see a gap up all around. That's bad. I don't like gaps. I said that this morning. I mean, I do like gaps. I love gaps, but I don't like gaps for continuation. Gaps, usually you can gap and go, but if you have, too big of a gap, or if the gap is caused by a large catalyst, it's more than likely going to be extremely volatile and really untradeable. So if you look at this major support line that we've been holding all the way back since May, since my birthday, actually, May 18th. Is when we've set this this support. So since we've had that support, we've reclaimed it, but in the worst and weakest way. Still below that HMA. So I think it's going to be pretty pivotal that the Qs bounce up tomorrow. Again, it could just decide to do what Apple did today, because Apple was quite confusing. Obviously, this is where technical analysis, thoughts on QuantumScape. Let's see here. Thoughts on QuantumScape? Yeah, for sure. Let's see here. You're so salty. Nah, it's not that. I just want people to learn the right way. Anyway, so Apple, same thing here, guys, and this is why it's so important to have that higher time frame up on when you're charting. And I kind of got lost in the sauce with Apple, because really Apple had very little room to run. If you look at it in retrospect, if you look at this hourly time frame, this is a rising wedge. So we're making a rising wedge going into earnings, and I don't know. I'm trying not to be too biased, and so I'll just leave it at this. Anywhere above 147.79, you're going to get a wick up to 150. And that's where you're going to really want to evaluate things on whether you want to take a position the day before earnings. And if it does end up running, please don't swing. Please be very careful. Nah. That's not true. Let's see here. Apple. Yeah, so in my opinion, looking at like how SPY and Apple has moved, because you look at SPY, you look at QQQ, all of them are just really not doing, like, they're moving up, but they're doing so on low volume, and they're not really making. I mean, if you look at between the last fall, let's see, we had July 21st, and we fell all the way down to 351.73, and now we are only, 365, we're only about 368, and we've used all of this time for absolutely nothing. And our nearest resistance is up here at 373. So we may continue to melt up, but that's about it. And that's why you're seeing such low volume right now. And so at this point, this is where things get a little bit scary for me. Not scary, but I'm not looking to go long on anything. I'm starting to look short. Even if earnings are just freaking crazy, then I'll change my mind. But until then, nah. So let's look at the Dow. So industrials, we did see a decent run. We did see a few airlines bounce back. I think that was in part to the White House saying they're not going to put everything's fine right now as far as travel restrictions. And then so I think that propelled the Dow up and around this 3,500 level. But again, if you go look at a lot of these stocks, the volume and everything wasn't great at all. If you look at Boeing, it's had some of the lowest volume that it's had in a while. So like I said, guys, the conviction is not there. I really believe that retail is pushing the market up right now, and that if you're in, you need to be very, very careful because they're letting this happen for a reason. And I think that, based off of where a lot of these stocks were last earnings season compared to now, these people have made their money, y'all. Please don't forget that. If they have a lot of money, Mike, I made the video. Let's see, when did I make the first video on Microsoft? Let's see here. Wow. Yeah, so Microsoft shoulder bounce, support bounce or shoulder building. And I literally updated this for quite some time because it was just making really, really beautiful moves to the upside. Guys, Nancy Pelosi bought at somewhere around 240 something. The stock's at 28 or 290. She's made her money, and if on earnings, and maybe we can see. I don't know if this will come in live, but we could even go to Quiver Quantitative and go look at that. But here, let's see. I'm curious now. Wow, this person bought a ass of Microsoft. And I wonder if they're going to take that up to that $300 level too. Because if you guys didn't, several weeks after I made those videos, we got a $315 price target. I don't see. All right, so we do have mostly purchases. We did have a sale just the other day, but other than that, no, it seems like people are still holding their bag. So I think that we still go and we hit 300 on Microsoft as well. But again, this one actually has really, really nice volume in comparison to a lot of its other counterparts. So, okay, so we have the Dow. Yeah, for sure, brother. All right, so okay, so we actually talked about, I think, the little bit of a reversal pattern, right? That the Russell was making. I don't know why my line just disappeared. There it is. So this one actually ended up playing out for the most part. We did get a nice reversal out of this. Ended up hitting that previous 222 before it ended up finishing the day with a bear flag. Desperate need of a bounce. That's not good. And again, this one, if you go out to the daily, you'll notice it was operating on very, very low volume. And also, not to mention, it rejected the top ribbon or this 20-day EMA and finished the day with a doji. So a little bit of indecision there. It's definitely going to need to see a bounce and a break. So finishing higher, but still not great movement today from IWM. So All right. Yeah, we're live. Georgie, are you on here right now? Cool. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get to it. I'm more excited to get to my watch list here. Just stop talking about these boring ass ETFs. Okay, so what are we looking at tomorrow? I'm going to talk to you guys about several different things that I'm looking for here on Roblox. Now, this could just end up being a bounce to the upside, and so looking at Roblox here, it was not a lot of risk, but I did see really high volume towards the end of the day and a bit of a reversal pattern here. This is a falling wedge. So I'm expecting at a minimum, we have $78 calls, expiration this week. At a minimum, we retest the $79 level. That's where I might, and I may, if we pop in the morning or if we gap up, I'm definitely out. I'm going to take profit. Might leave one, see if we pop. But other than that, if we reject that 200, I'm out of there. But anyway, that first mark would be right around there. And then if we can break that level, and you can see here, same thing. Look at the 20-day moving average here on the hourly, $79 as well. So 79 is the target for just simply a bounce play. I do believe that we'll probably likely gap up. And if we get a rejection, this actually could end up being a good play to the downside. Why is that? Because this thing is still working on building this pattern from the looks of it. And that means that, let's go back here. So that means we could see Roblox anywhere down. So this is not a long-term hold or anything, but we could see Roblox back down somewhere around the $73.50 to $74 level. And so let's see. Relief run. Yeah, for sure. So a break here, guys, after tomorrow's bounce. I think that we would likely see it back down around 74 or 73.55. But I'm just looking for a short-term swing here, a nice little pop-up tomorrow, and then potentially a rejection. So again, we have Disney. Now, why are we trading Disney right now with everything going on? Let's see, making sure that we don't have Disney. That sucked. Yeah, okay, we're good to go. I just want to make sure. So anyway, Disney right now has a gap to finish filling. We did play Disney today off of Georgie's signal. This is one that we tried to play a couple days ago, but I have it wrapped up in this pennant right now, and with the gap fill almost complete. So anywhere past 179.35 or even 179.25. And I think that Disney is likely going to hit 181.65. I don't know where this one little tiny bug has come from, but I'm about to punch. Anyway, so 181.25, 181.50, somewhere in that range. At the most 181.65 and a potential wick or body close below. But I think it stays inside this pennant. It fills that gap and then runs past that. So we swung those 180 calls on Disney. If you guys weren't on, I caught IG. I thought it was funny, kind of like Instagram. It's iGate Pharmaceuticals. I'm not sure if anybody caught any of these trades with me in after hours. Let's see here. But this one's still on watch for me. And it's a penny stock. I think I actually filled right around I think it was like the 640 level. And then this one made a beautiful run, and I TP'd just... Sorry, fire truck scared the shit out of me. Or not the fire truck, the street sweepers. They sound like street demons. Sometimes they just come out of nowhere. Anyway, street demons. They do sound like that, man. Somebody needs to grease those things up. They sound rough. City's slacking. Anyway, so I caught iGate and signaled that in the Discord live previously. Let's see. I also got so IG. Where is the other one? I did grab a little bit of Mogu, Mogu, and that one really didn't play out kind of the way that I was hoping, but I am still holding a little bit of Mogu. You can see that in after hours here on the 5 minute, this one popped up. I tried to take it around the 140 plus. It ran to $2. I trimmed a little bit out, but I'm still red on the position, and I'll look to catch it for another bounce tomorrow. So watching for that retest bounce, possibly in pre-market tomorrow. We'll likely get a gap up where I'll likely add or average down around 160. I know I usually don't go over penny stocks, but a lot of these stocks have been pulling off some pretty crazy moves. So BP, same thing, caught this one in after hours. They just got licensed for, I think it was, let me not butcher it, and I'll send the link in here a little bit later. But they got, let's see. I don't know. It was my laptop just died with all of my news, but they just got I think it was pharmaceutical news, FDA, so something having to do with that. Anytime you have FDA news, you'll get a nice strong pop. But I do like to watch those for continuation, because usually whenever the headlines come in and it's an actual step in feasible, like that pharmaceutical production, and maybe like a phase 2, phase 3, type situation, that's where you can see a little bit more of sustainability when it comes to a small cap running, so like Sava or some shit like that. Okay, so besides that, I think Fubo, I'm not sure if you guys saw Fubo here, but it didn't really do much today at all. It did have a really crazy bounce here off of the pre-market lows, and held up for the most part. If you take a look at the hourly, and I think I had the right idea on Fubo. I think I just caught it a little bit too early. We tried to trade it around that $27 level. This one's on watch for tomorrow. I don't currently have a position on Fubo, but I am looking to take one if we can get a push above 27.15. If we can get a push around there, then I'll start legging into a position. I think that it might actually run with all the people who gather shorts on it, because the Fubo has been a relatively short stock. Those of you who caught DNUT, I signaled DNUT this morning off of my watch list. I actually wasn't able to take it. I was super preoccupied with Roku, which jerked us around for a while, as well as Zoom, which Zoom is definitely one to continue to watch going into tomorrow. That was a great trade. Georgie was actually able to signal that one before I did. But Zoom is a good stock to be hanging on and watching right now during the climate that we're in. Anyway, so on DNUT, I saw this reversal pattern here. We were open the day right around here, and of course today we saw a really, really strong push to $18. But this is the beauty of technical analysis. We literally saw the wicks, or the bodies of these candles, pull back in, which means that they're likely going to keep it at this level. A lot of times when analyst upgrades come out, these upgrades will actually give probably big whales the opportunity to take some profit off the table. And if not, they can just kind of taper things until it gets to the price that they want, knowing that buyers are ready and willing. And a lot of times creating bag holders is a good thing, I'm sure, for them. So, but anyway, watch for D-Nut, anywhere around this wick fill. I'm watching it around 1750. If it doesn't get there, it doesn't get there. It is what it is. Facebook, I'm not sure if anybody traded Facebook today, but this one kind of just stayed in range, but I'm okay with that. I actually wasn't really mad at the fact that this one stayed in range, and I think it's still worth watching. It may do the same thing tomorrow. It's up against this, let's see, let's pull this across. Perfect. So you have a bull, almost like a bull flag here forming on the hourly, or even if you're on the 4 hour, it looks a little bit cleaner with the HMA lurking right around 374. You have your moving averages relatively close, but not right there like I usually like to see when stocks are breaking out. I also don't like that it doesn't have great volume. It's not the worst, but it's not great, and it's a little bit overbought on the RSI. Whole ribbon indicator is showing that the trend has shifted, and it does have earnings coming up. I think, what did we say on, the 28th. So, I mean, Facebook is, on Wednesday. So Facebook could end up running up pre-earnings. And right now, Facebook is at all-time highs. And the thing that's scary about this is it left a gap. It left a gap that will eventually get filled. So I think maybe we do see a little bit of a push. Facebook will be on watch for me tomorrow for a potential scalp at some point during the day. I'm not like super gung-ho on making sure that I just absolutely take it on the bell. But 374.50 is where I'm going to be really evaluating volume to see if we have enough to kind of break and hold maybe into the 380 level going into tomorrow. So what's up, man? So anyway, watching Facebook, I do like that one above yesterday's high. 374.30 is where I'm setting my alert. And we'll see how this one plays out. I also bought Max R in after hours. Why did I buy Max R? Because I love that shit. And not only do I love this company for what it is and what it does, it has a pretty gnarly inverse head and shoulders, a pretty gnarly momentum ribbon flip on the 4 hour, contrary to the daily. So I did buy long-term equity. We do have earnings coming up here. These are speculative buys. These aren't full positions, but I like the setup. That yawn hit me like a ton of bricks. In after hours, that wasn't me, but I did buy some in after hours. Damn, that's sick. Let's see. So in after hours, it pretty much went up to go test that resistance at 36.20. So right around, 36. Right around 36, we'll see that shoulder break, and then the first target will be 37.24. Might see a little consolidation around that daily ribbon, but other than that, I think MaxR might be trying for an uptrend here. So I'm going to set an alert here at 36. Okay. I think it's worth taking a look at GRWG. How about just set an alert and leave it at that? Okay. So other than that, I believe AMD's earnings are tomorrow as well. That one ran up in after hours. I don't know if anybody saw, it had some pretty gnarly movement here, made a little bull flag. So that one may run as well up into earnings, or people will wake up and see a bull flag, and then market makers will come and slap that ass because more than likely AMD, we've seen it around this $90 level. We know what happens here. So we're going to be very, very careful as we're, taking something the day of earnings. But there could be a lot of volatility, and who knows, we have a parabolic day, and that sets us off, and then we pull back. We've seen that before too. So, and that would be potentially what retail would let happen. Maybe market makers let it happen. They let it slide. Earnings disappoints. They dump it. They take profit. Boom, bada bing. Gabagoo. All right. Yeah. Robert, I do need sleep, man. I'm very tired, guys. So if I seem a little out of it right now, I apologize. Don't look me too close in the eyes. I'm pooped. Anyway, so I like D-Nut. Yeah, for sure. That one's a watch for tomorrow. Anyway, guys, that's about it. I like Roblox. I like Disney. They're inside days. They're nothing crazy. I do and have alerts set on some cannabis stocks, but those seem to have kind of shit the bed today as well. So if you take a look at Tilray, I was watching this one because there's a lot of cannabis news right now, and Tilray is about to eat the dumper. Tilray is about to go back down to probably $13.35. It seems like it's broken support, and if it ends up going there, it may find itself back down at $13, which, yeah, that's pretty low for Tilray there. So hopefully it doesn't see continuation past that mark, because they might want to get this thing as low as possible and get the best price for themselves. So that's not out of the question. Appreciate you. Okay, so that's Tilray. I had somebody ask me about Sundial, guys. That one's just gotten... The company itself isn't that great. Everyone just associates it, which, you know, if they were smart, they would have taken profit and used those funds to make their business not suck so bad. But I haven't updated myself on any really new information, so maybe I'm being a bit judgmental, but I don't like it. Are you in Lemonade too, Austin? Yeah, well, guess what? Me too. So you're solely responsible for... I'm just messing with you. No, I'm actually pretty excited. I think you saw something pretty cool there. I am going to be watching this one tomorrow. I think 83.65, and then of course you see this level $90. If we can break $90, I think that it is plausible for us to potentially see... I have 91.35, and then if we break 91.35, we could see 94.58. We know how those contracts move. The whole ribbon indicator is showing a little bit of reprieve, but again, same thing with the other tickers. We have that daily whole ribbon right here kind of creeping up. So at most $95 on Lemonade, and we do have earnings, so it may stay in range until the August 4th mark. So okie dokie. All right, let's go ahead and get to your guys' ticker. 80. Yeah, we need to break $90 tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna zip through these guys so I can get some sleep. Thanks, Robert. All right, let's go ahead and let's get up. Wow, there's been a lot of comments so far. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start with MVIS. Opticy, are you on right now? The tube? If you are, I don't know if you can highlight the tickers as they come in. That'd be tight though. That way I can see them. I made Kenneth one too. Yeah, Raj, we'll look at play. I got you guys for sure. All right. Okay, so microvision here. I actually like this setup so far. Let's look at the daily. Oof, okay, so fighting with that whole ribbon indicator. Fighting with S2. So if it breaks the low that it's at, if it breaks today's low, then it will likely continue to the downside. So we can bank on that. So anywhere below 1350, then we'll definitely see a new low. Otherwise, okay. Okay, so looks like a little small break in downtrend, but I think what's going to be most pivotal, and you could drag ass a little bit back down to 12.98 or $13, and then maybe bounce there. But it does have the look that if it can rebound tomorrow around 14, really I'd just say the break of 15, then you might see a good entry around $16. With a potential run to 18 there. And so this, I think, is also related to Bitcoin. So it has a lot to do with Bitcoin's movement as well. So if Bitcoin continues to trend up, we may see the same thing. My predictions stand. Those of you who have heard me on Bitcoin, I think that we'll either likely stay in range here where we rejected earlier, and then we'll see a pop out up to 44K. So that at the most, maybe 45, in that range. I'm looking, that's coming off of a daily downtrend that I have. And it looks like it wants to flip green. Amazon has been a big reason why that is. So, yeah, so with microvision, you've got a pretty good idea anywhere below today's low, and you're probably going to see a slow pullback to $13. If you can see a break anywhere around and hold of $15, then I think that you might form that inverse head and shoulders, and then you're more than likely going to move up into the $16 range. Obviously, earnings is coming up along with everybody else. So that could affect movement going into the stock as it is extremely low. Oof, I can feel it sleepy in my eyeballs. Okay. Excuse me. Hey, Ryan. Great job on Baba, by the way. I think that your analysis was really good, and I think that you're, basically on the nail with the fact that, with China FUD, if that can get cleared up, just like DD and all that stuff, go to the moon. But until we get past that, that's that big handle there. So, so you said MVIS has a cup and handle, right? I think you must be talking about like a lower time frame. I see that. I mean, you could kind of say that's a cup and handle, but I see more of an inverse head and shoulders, disregarding this gap over here. But still, it looks good. I am actually about to, I'm talking about coin, that's next on my list. So if you want to hop on this right here, I'm about to chart coin. And coin is on next to my list. Okay, so coin, pretty standard operations here. looks like we made a little ascending wedge, and I think, I don't know, remember putting this 250, but 250 is that psychological number, and we hit 5 cents away from 250, and we just completely went and broke our support. Now we're ending the day with very little volume, very little strength, and honestly what looks like a potential trip back down to 236. Not exactly, obviously this, I think, Coinbase, having obviously directly tied to Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin flies, they fly, and especially with this sentiment now, Coinbase is only looking to expand, but a big gap up, guys. But that means that if Bitcoin doesn't make a new high, then more than likely tomorrow you're going to see this gap get filled on coin. And I think that what happened with crypto is that you had a lot of long positions, or a lot of short positions. Everybody's shorting, short, 26K, short. It's going to go down, and inevitably it didn't. And, whales pretty much like just bought that up, leaving everybody, kind of feeling a little frustrated, I'm sure. But with Coinbase and this move that we've had, it has to sustain the 200-day EMA. Otherwise, Bitcoin and stock friends that it correlates with will likely drop. So you'll see here that pre-market range here, the orb where we would have likely taken coin to the upside for a quick start. That's our quick scalp. That's where we're sitting at currently. So what we're going to need to do is break down, and if we close anywhere around 236, then more than likely I would imagine the start of this gap is going to be 236 even, with a midterm target at 233.75, and then the gap gets filled at 227. So this actually could be a really good downside play. I'm going to write it down on my whiteboard. Hold on. So I like that. I like Coinbase to fill its gap to the downside if Bitcoin doesn't show any resilient strength. So coin puts for tomorrow, that's probably going to be a play depending on Bitcoin. And then, okay, I think that was it. Disney. On there, Roblox right now. Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that setup right there, short, right? Because what happened? We hit that psychological number, and we got a very, very stiff and direct rejection. I mean, very like whap, and you can see that here, just clean rejection. And so, ooh, look at that. Look at the whole ribbon indicator sitting right at 235.85. So at a minimum, I think that we could take Coinbase to 235. I have 235.85. If the gap gets filled, my guys, that, or whoever's, that is going to go to 230. Hi from Los Angeles. What's up? I was born in Los Angeles. A lot of people in my group are from LA. Okay, so what do we have next? What was the next one? We got coin. What about coin for tomorrow? Ryan, I know this is a little bit late, but I said melting up, where you have low volume, but the stocks continue to climb and go to retest those resistances. And I think that's mostly retail. Retail is pumping the market right now, and it's more than likely going to pull it back. So. Honestly, I don't know. I was just reading you said, wouldn't low volume really just be because of vacation time? Like, no, I don't think so. There's plenty of money flowing into the markets elsewhere. So, yo, Quiver, thoughts on Chinese stock? Yo, Quiver Quantitative. We're literally, I literally have your stuff up right now. We were just looking at what Nancy was doing with Microsoft, and whether she's our sell signal. I'm curious. I see more people. We actually have some decently heavy purchases. My thoughts on Chinese stock at the moment are it just has to get past the FUD. We've had multiple people do evaluations on the company. I think Baba in itself, Bidu in itself, both of those are powerhouses. Yeah, her and her husband, exactly. But they're powerhouses. They should go higher, but until things cool down, I think that I think one thing to pay attention to is maybe dark pool, big block trades that come in, and tracking whether people, because they're going to know first, the insiders are going to be able to, and Ryan did a great job in our Discord of filling us in on that one. So, let's see here. All right, what was next? We had coin. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody. We've got Spy. So I think Zillow was next. I would agree. Quiver. And you know what's really crazy is that the calls for Baba and Bidu were so highly inflated this morning, and the puts were so cheap, like 76 cents. And just maybe I was like, man, people are buying the dip, hard. They're buying the dip. So I gotta take my glasses off. My eyeballs are hurting. But yeah, just waiting for that dust to settle. Okay, so let's go look at Zillow now. We'll make this quick. All right, so Zillow, as always, starting out on the daily. Look at that. It looks like we're rejecting. Let me go to the 4 hour. Okay, actually, Zillow might be due for a bounce tomorrow. This is kind of speculative here, but I just looking at where we've rejected multiple times. I wouldn't go as far as say this is a descending megaphone, but it does have a decent channel that it's trading in. It had a little bit of a correction here, but this channel right here, I'm trying to see whether it's rejected it, because we did have that decent wick here. So here's what I'm looking at right now for Zillow. It has the whole ribbon indicator still well below it. It does have this little HMA mark at 110, I think, or 109. If it can climb up above, I'd say 110, or why I keep saying that, 110. I know numbers. Anyway, 110.75. That's that kind of like that linear deviation. You'll see there's a triangle forming here. So if it climbs up above there, watch for the retest of resistance around 112. And if it continues to consolidate, that's more of a chance that we may see Zillow break out. And it looks good to potentially break out. You tried again, or you tried to break downtrend and failed back in June. But looking at it, we have earnings. Let's see. We have earnings on August 5th, so it might be time for a trend break here, or at least a slight retest. There is a small gap up there around 117, and the 200-day EMA is still sitting around 115.75. So to the upside, anywhere past that resistance that I was just speaking of, the 112.75, 113 level. If it breaks there, I'll probably watch it to that 200-day EMA here, and then if it can break the 200, you have that little tiny gap fill right there that could go, I think, 117.13. So I'm going down the list. Calm down. Check here. Nah, dude, I'm about to pass out, bro. I gotta get through these lists. I've been doing one-on-ones since yesterday, I feel like. Okay, we did MVIS. Gotcha. Nah, dude, I'm good. ORMO. ORMO. Is that right? Nick, is that... Oh, ORMP. I got it. Let's go look at the volume. Wow. Wow. That's... I mean, it looks like it's already gone. Great breakout. You're leaving a few gaps underneath, which is a little scary. But it looks like today you ended... Ooh, look at that. So you in post market, you're seeing a nice little pop-up holding what looks to be a bull flag here. I would say as long as it... And in the 20-day moving average here seems to be what it likes to ride off of. I would likely anticipate you have higher than average volume here up against this resistance. Let me move this over. Looks like volume did start to die off. Let me go to the 4 hour again. This looks news based. What happened? Gearing up to begin clinical trials for oral COVID-19 vaccine. What? That's cool as shit. Why is this not on my watch list? Okay, it's had a strong run out of its breakout level. A lot of times when that happens, you'll get a slight retest. So maybe a 1550 retest, or at least consolidation stays above that 1550, and then you may potentially flag out there. So you have this bottom support here. Top support here. Yeah, my guy, I'm tired. I'm really tired. I wouldn't say that if I wasn't tired, but I am really, really tired, and I just want to ride. Mary, you sent me a message? Yes, that's well, I'll talk about yeah, I'll get to you in a second. I see your message, Mary. Sorry, I just saw it. Okay, so RMP. Yeah, I think we might see a pullback there. Okay, CVAC. I skipped Spce. My bad, Robert. Yeah, go ahead, throw your tickers down. Play. I'm sorry, guys. You're gonna have to help your boy tonight. I'm off a lack of one. I'm off a lack of sleep. Is that being on one? I'm on a lack of sleep right now. I don't know why I'm charting on the 5 minute. Get out of here. Okay, so hot diggity damn. Not much strength here. Look at the volume. Look at that. So I would say, and I'm going to say, that we may continue to consolidate here, but we still have a gap to fill. That gap is at 23.75, and I feel that when that gap gets filled, I will take and try and buy more Spce equity around $20.50 or $21. Both of those are good fills for me. And if it doesn't, I'll be wrong, and I guess I'll miss the boat on that one, but I really believe that this is going to continue to consolidate. That doesn't mean that it won't go and retest $40 or $41. That is not out of the question at all. Like, it's totally a possibility it goes and it retests. But at the same time, we also have this support, right? So it's totally feasible that this thing goes and just simply retests 33.55, which is perfectly aligned with my previous high. So pop up here, probably reject, in my opinion, and then you may see consolidation here. So watch this little triangle to form here, and then possibly dump. You have earnings, so it looks like a good consolidation setup going into earnings. So if anybody was going to take a position on that bet, I'd probably do that now before IV starts to kick, because it's August 5th. But let's see. Wow. I'm about to take my eyeballs. Oh my God, Robert, no. Okay, we got CVAC. I missed play. Sorry, Raj. Okay. Little megaphone boy. Okay, play, I would set a level here. I was looking for some dynamic resistances and supports. All right, so looks like play. Nice double bottom. So decent double bottom here off of that 33.50 level. What your goal now is to break 37 bucks. I would imagine on that $37 break, you'll likely get a little retest. So you may even kind of swerve down here and retest that same level. Or you may even go and retest the 36.25, depending on the volume and the sentiment. Delta variant, malarkey, that's not good. So we gotta watch out for that. That sounded super redneck. Gotta watch out for that monarchy. Anyway, so play, I would imagine the first major support that I see is 39 bucks. And then $39.80 is sitting right above that, where that 200-day EMA is here. I'm going to go to move to the daily. So the one thing that I do see here is the 200-day EMA on the daily was reclaimed today with volume. So decent volume, not crazy volume. And it does look that we, let's see, earnings was on June 21st. And now, that doesn't seem right. Anyway, so you're above that whole ribbon indicator. So I would anticipate a little push, but you need to remember that we need to make sure that those moving averages stay relatively close. So after it's made a decent run, Dave & Buster's, even on its bullish runs, will have little tiny pullbacks. So as you can see here, a lot of the times it's just using this 20-day EMA, and you can see that it very much respects the 20-day EMA on the daily time frame. So for me, I just want to see it hold. And if you notice, where did we bounce off today? I don't have to zoom in any closer. The 200-day EMA is our daddy. So anywhere above $37, I'll be watching Dave & Buster's. Has anybody in this chat gone to Dave & Buster's in real life? Am I missing out on something? I've never been. Raj, cup and handle on the weekly. Okay, you got your... I'm sitting here with a magnifying glass. You got your telescope. Let's go. I sure want to say yes. Sure looks like a good cup and handle. There it is. Good eye, Raj. You're sick with it, man. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, sir. Main target would be $47. $47. You break 47, get above that hole at 50, and you're off. Of course, it doesn't run in a straight line, but it does run really well. I like it. I do like it a lot. Dave and Buster's as a long play, definitely worth keeping an eye on. Look at the channel. It's very well respected. I like it. Alrighty. And plus that 200-day moving average reversal here. Where did we end it? Ooh, look at the extra confirmation. So where did we end the day today? Or where did we end the candle on the weekly? At that 200-day. So if we hit that price target that we talked about, this one's going to reclaim its 200-day EMA on all of those higher time frames, which would hopefully set it into trend. I'm doing a little TikTok challenge. Yo, Connor, what's up, dude? Dave and Buster's does look like it has a decent cup and handle, but volume's pretty low too. So, and you have the Delta virus, Corona variant thing that is doing its thing right now. So those are always woes to the restaurant and entertainment industry. So, and like I said, if I'm missing out on, I'll check those out. I forgot what I was about to say. Never mind. So you said Starbucks. Yeah, I'll look at that in just a second. Let me go see what else YouTube. Ouch. Look at Kenneth has a little moderator thing by his name. That's cool. Okay, so wow, BRKA Scott, man, dang. I don't think anybody's ever asked me to chart that. CVAC. All right, so we'll do CVAC. CureVac. Oof, my guy. Looks like it is. There it is. There's a support level. I'll take a look at it. Okay, so let's look at it. I gotta be honest with you, because I don't know anything about the company. I can't add anything really meaningful, because this one is obviously one that's ran. If you look at the chart, it's moving off of news. It's moving off of. It's got a ton of gaps. I mean, you've got a massive gap all the way to $93. It is at a pretty major support level and bounced off of it twice. You do have earnings here, but the price action above it is just really, really ugly. And like I said, you have a gap. It looks like it even attempted to fill its gap, or it ended up rejecting the same level that it bounced off of previously. So with CVAC, man, I mean, I'm looking at this even on the lower time frame on this hourly here, and I would just keep my eye on whatever news correlates with this one, because it doesn't look like a super awesome stock to trade at the moment. And because I don't know anything about it, I don't want to say it's at the bottom, because this thing could go and find a new one. It's still really relatively new. I think, what has it been since September of last year? This spin around, so, and it came around the coronavirus, so I don't know. It seems a little sketchy right now to me. Maybe keep an eye on it above $60. If it gets above $60, maybe evaluate the volume, and at that point, maybe take it to the upside. But I'm just giving you. I don't want to make shit up, so. No, Raj, you're good, man. mRNA puts. We'll take a peek at them. Okay. Okay, so there you go. CVAC failed. Then that's the reason. I didn't know that. COVID mRNA vaccine play. Their vaccine failed. So if that's the case, and I'll go Google that here in a second, that would explain why they're sitting at these lows. So I mean, now what? I'm gonna make another vaccine. I don't know anything about the company, so I can't give you anything meaningful. But looking at the chart, it's at the last level that it bounced off of after it IPO'd. So pretty much this thing is run up on hope and dreams. Okay. Did I already hit AMD? I don't think I did. I think I just talked about it. All right, let's hit Starbucks real quick. Starbucks is, yeah, so this is the same thing. So you said, did you say puts in the morning? Oh, you're talking about for earnings? I can't endorse it. I'm not going to hate you for it. I know that some people do that, but you could get hit with IV. I think the main thing that the main target for Starbucks for a pullback is 120. I think right 122.85. That's a gap. If you look at the daily, there's a gap there, and it is really, really far away from its daily support. Holy shit! Look how long I've been. This has been a while since I've been trading on Starbucks. But yeah, man, I would highly recommend. Wow, that is old stuff right there. So anyway, on Starbucks here, well above its support. Definitely, I would agree with you in the need for a pullback. I imagine that earnings is going to be pretty great though. So it may even go higher, right? And you could see it in the 130s before tomorrow and then end up seeing it pull back. So just be careful with that bet. Just because something's overbought doesn't mean retail won't be allowed to push it up. And I think that looking at Spce and looking at everything else, pumping on low volume, that most of this is retail and most of it's going to get pulled out from underneath us. So I could be wrong. Like I said, hopefully we just continue to rip. But I don't like the gap and I don't like the daily candle close on Starbucks. So all right, let's go to... They have agreement for a new agenda on August 16th, followed by meetings, 6 hours playing 80 clause, a YOLO, just looking at other opinions on it. Okay, Tyler, that changes things. If they have an agreement, then it is at a major support level. So if it's something that could be potentially profitable and please either the bag holders or potential investors to buy at that level, then I mean, that is a potential for sure. But like I said, that's one of the things about not having that insider or that news. So okay, let's go look at AMD. It's 10:15. I gotta hurry up. And I'll be on tomorrow morning, guys. That's one of the reasons why I'm so pooped. So we traded pre-market. So if you guys aren't trading with us in pre-market, I will be on YouTube tomorrow pretty much as soon as I can. I'll just alert you guys. I'll tweet it and Reddit it and all that other social media stuff. I'll be live on TikTok and get shit like that. So, but we'll trade a little bit of pennies in the AM and see how that goes. So, okay. So with AMD, AMD 92.85 right now is where we got that rejection today. Earnings is right around the corner, and if you'll notice, it held underneath that whole ribbon indicator, and this is a relatively, but not only that, it did actually break out and is now retesting on that daily candle as well. We have a support here. Look at the declining volume on AMD. As it runs up, people get so trapped up in that stuff, it's crazy. They just that's how they get you at the top with that like super low volume. man, I think at the most, man, you're going to see 93. As you notice, AMD always goes back down to support, and right now it's above it with low volume. So what goes up must come down, especially if it doesn't have what it takes to stay up. So hopefully you get some pre-earnings movement on AMD and other stocks. And if you do, I was trying not to like do the whole like yawning thing because I was about to. I just had to cut myself off. But yeah, so it could pop up in earnings. But that's the thing, guys, is I'm charting all of this, and earnings is just gonna blow whatever I think out of the water because I just can't predict that. But I can look at potential price levels, with AMD. Like if it runs up, I mean, the first immediate one is $95, period, end of story. That's where it goes if things go well. If it drops, I think an immediate level is probably $91.36 as a smaller level, and then potentially $90. Is it worth me playing? No. But it does have that not very it doesn't show me real conviction. So okay, guys. Berkshire, Class A. Imagine owning a stock of Berkshire. Uh-oh. That looks like a hot dog water. I do need sleep. How'd you know that? I feel attacked. I think you're going to pull back. Yeah. You may be in need of one more retest. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so so I'm leaning to the downside on this one, and the reason why is, and now I think that it pops first, so watch it to the $430,000 mark, 433, 432 area. Watch for a pop up there. You do have the whole ribbon indicator. Maybe people climb into Berkshire for safety. But otherwise, if it rejects that level, or if it doesn't even make it above 42, then or 425, if it doesn't even make it above 425, which was the previous level that it broke to the downside, then more than likely you're going to continue moving down. And I would think, just based off of these projections, like looking at the 200-day EMA, and I mean, like, this is a rough projection because I'm using just my own, watching how the EMA moves. Fuck, it's really hard to draw. I wish I had an iPad for this one. So if it falls, the EMA will react and it will start falling and kind of tapering with it. And what will happen there is this one will likely align perfectly with my support there, and that's where I think that this support is going to come in and end up being a real factor here. So I think that we're going to end up seeing some heavy consolidation here. Berkshire has made since, let's see, even November of last year, or even the beginning of this year, has made some pretty good moves. And so it looks like it might be time for somewhat of a pullback. So anyway, I would watch it 425 to the upside, and then with the 433 mark, and of course, like, you know, these. I've never played Berkshire, but this is my opinion. I think that it pulls back and consolidates in this pennant type little thing here before making its next move. So. $420K. Yeah, there you go, Briston. All right, guys. I think that's it. I gotta get to bed. I'm sorry. I'm so tired right now. I'll try and be slightly more awake tomorrow. But if you guys traded pre-market with me, join me for pre-market, guys. I've been having a lot of fun making some pretty good money in pre-market trading pennies. So. Anyway, have a good night. Thank you. Of course, guys. Thank you guys for always supporting the stream, leaving likes. I appreciate you guys. I'm actually pretty close to monetizing on YouTube, which is pretty cool. And I think at that point, I'm going to start looking into an actual podcast where I interview people, other traders, people from our group, maybe even a little bit further. So maybe people who are creating apps, trading, I don't know, might do something a little fun with it. So anyway, you guys have a great night. I'll see you next time.